Hello, amazing people. I hope you guys are well and your week has been a blessing. You've enjoyed yourself, you've had fun. Yesterday, I was cheering my class for a football match, and I got my friend really scoring a good goal. So, yeah, I'm very happy for him. How this nigga rolls, like, celebrates like Cristiano Ronaldo. That stuff really spiked my dopamine up. And I could see, like, just walking like a confident guy. Yeah, so sometimes it's good to have fun. Like, you need to balance. Okay, I'm talking about fun, not in the degenerate way, just fun that gives you a meaning. Like going to enjoy the nature, having some time with the people you love, also having some good food, taking yourself out on a date. These are the things I'm talking about. So remember to love yourself, as I always do. Remember to hydrate, put God first. So today I want to talk about something like how to rewire our belief systems. And something that is very abstract or something that is very fundamental in life is that our beliefs like our beliefs determine how we operate in life. The actions that we take, no matter how automatic they may seem, they are always at the back of the mind, determined by our belief systems. So if you find yourself doing something consistently, for example, you find yourself in a situation, if you just take time to identify, you realize that you've been acting in the same way when you find yourself in that situation. And so today I wanted to kind of tell us something about these belief systems and why is this topic so fundamental. So let me give you a story about myself. Okay, so I remember my early childhood life. It wasn't too tough at that time. Of course, I didn't have the privilege to be born in a very rich family. So I came from the village. Life wasn't so easy, but life also not wasn't so tough at first, because my dad used to work so hard. My dad is still working so hard today to date. So at least we had some blessing. But this standard where, okay, I came from the village, and it's like if you compare me to other people, the art of comparison is not good. But you could say, and I don't now define myself like this, I came from this humble family. So whenever I'd see these rich people, for example, this rich person in our village who had this big bungalow, the mansion. He was a principal. And something funny is that the rich people in the village are these people who have careers. Someone is a teacher, the other one, I've never seen an accountant, doctors. Yeah, so I used to ask myself, like, if I go to school and I work hard, maybe I could change my family's life. Yeah, so, and I really worked so hard in my academics, like going to school. Sometimes I didn't love mathematics. That is another thing about my belief systems. I used to think that mathematics was just hard for me. I don't fail, but I just had something against it. And in my high school, I was even surpassed by not comparing people who had a greater belief in mathematics than I did, regardless of the fact that I was in the top indexes. So I used to believe that money or riches were meant for certain type of people. And so when I looked at myself as a victim, I thought maybe I could never change my life, I could never change my family, and I was like, okay, maybe our fate is determined and sealed. Maybe it's like the world just placed me here, and this is the life I'm gonna perpetuate, and this is gonna be the end of us. So I remember when I go to high school and I saw these cool kids, their parents visiting them with these big cars, and okay, I'm like, okay, wow. So at this time, I didn't admire the vehicles because I felt like if I worked so hard, I could do that. But I felt like this is something that was out of my reach, and at some point, it made me become resentful against rich people. I was like, when you growing up in these humble families, sometimes you hear people, especially in your community, say that money is evil. Oh, rich people do bad things. They get their money from maybe stabbing people in the back. That is an idiomatic expression. Like, they do bad things to people so that they get their money. And so you find that my relationship with money wasn't so healthy. And I know, so most of us are still in this stage, and I'll do a podcast on this. So when you get money, you don't think of how you can reproduce the money or increase it, because you've been subjected to a consumer mindset. So you get 500 shillings, you just want to eat all of it. You don't have a saving culture. So, growing up in these families, it's always survival mode. Like, you're always thinking about what we're gonna eat today. Even the medical expenses is something that is not is an it's a surplus. Yeah, so it's a luxury, because to us, like, when you grew up, our parents had to decide between taking you to school and buying you good clothes. So what would you go for, especially now that we knew education was the only weapon we had against poverty? Okay, and at some point this has literally been challenged, especially in the modern world. I'm not saying you shouldn't study, but do something else within that. So that is how I felt like my fate was determined and sealed. But today, when I look at myself, through reading a lot of books, listening to a lot of podcasts, seeing these mentors that have achieved so many great things. Someone like Vusi Thembekwayo. Vusi Thembekwayo came from a very humble family. But imagine today, if you go and check I Google about his net worth, what he's really doing in the world is inspiring a lot of people. If you go and look at the things he's doing, being he's a what franchise, like, yeah, so they invest in businesses. I've forgotten the name. So you can change your mindset, you can change your belief systems by really putting in the work. So how to rewire our belief systems? And first of all, I want us to read a Bible verse. I'm gonna be kind of fast because I don't want to take a lot of time. I know people don't like listening to stuff that are so heavy. Okay, so the book of Romans chapter 12 verse 2 says, "And do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good unto God, which is your reasonable service." So you hear the Bible is talking about the transformation of the mind. So first of all, it's your mind. Your mind determines your belief systems, and this comes from different experiences. So the first experience is your childhood, how you grew up, the kind of guardians you had, your parents, the relationship you had with them, how they used to relate with lots of things, their relationship with money, their love experience. For example, there's someone who believes that love is not genuine just because they grew up in a dysfunctional relationship. You realize that you can change that. I've talked about my relationship with money, how it came from, how I saw my parents. My parents were hardworking, but it was the hustle culture, so and that is what I got from my parents. Sorry. Number 3 is your early life experience. For example, the school and your friends. You see, especially the school culture. We were told to work so hard, pass our exams. So then we go get a good job, we go get a family, we marry, we buy a car. Then it's like we raise our kids. So it's like our lives were meant to be in war. This also perpetuates the hustle culture. It's like we have other potentials, but our potential is limited to being employees. And at some point I was like, okay, do I really need to conform to whatever the school system the education system is telling me? I know I can become more than just being a lawyer. I can become more than being an advocate. I can write books, I can inspire young people, I can become a public speaker, I can become a psychiatrist. These are the things that are just deep within my life. Like, I feel like God has called me to a greater purpose than that, just being a lawyer. So you see, it kind of develops our belief systems. Then number 3, let's allow me to read whatever I had written. Number 3 is our early life experiences. I talked about the education, your early childhood, your school, high school, maybe where you went to school and the people you used to relate with. Then number 4 is your friends. Someone said that you are, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Then someone else said you are the average of the 5 people you work with or you hang out with. So this really determines. For example, if all your friends are mediocres, they are average people, they don't have a life, they are just there, they are living for the moment, YOLO. They want to please their flesh, they want to do everything. It's like they just want to suffice. They want to like, I don't know what to say, like they just want to enjoy this moment without realizing that the things we do today have consequences to who we become in future. So you find that it also affects your belief system whenever you're trying to get different. I remember when I got into self-improvement and I started being intentional about my spiritual life, I really had to cut off lots of people. I had these, sometimes you think they're your friends, but it's just like it was a friendship of convenience. So I had to cut off a lot of people. Some people would come to me and they told me, "Oh, Sam, nowadays you're silent." I told them, I'm working on myself, kindly give me a break. So some points, your friends determine how you perceive your belief systems. For example, if you have these friends who have been into degenerate activities, they've had their relationships, they were just subjected to, they have been desperate for love, and that means they've been in toxic relationships. Anytime they choose to please the other people. So you find that subconsciously or unconsciously, you subject yourself to the same experience. Sometimes you find yourself doing things, then you try and ask yourself, where did this come from? Then when you take like an introspection, you realize that I've learned this from my friend. Oh, is it not Sam that has been doing this? For example, if you have a friend who is always practicing gratitude, they are kind to people, you find that unconsciously you also find yourself doing such. But if you have these rude friends who talk to people the way they want, who just don't appreciate any people, they are not even appreciative or grateful to their parents, you find at some point, there's someone said that if you put a spoiled apple in a basket full of the other good apples, then it will destroy the others. So it's very important to determine the kind of people you hang out with, because this will go a long way into affecting your finances. Your friends will come and tell you, Sam, today we are going out, we want to go and have fun. Not that it's not good to have fun, but did you really have this idea in mind? Hey, did you plan to spend your money in that manner? It's just something that we call it like impulse. They are just kind of appeasing you to do this thing. Can you tell them no? By that, learn to say no to things that don't align to your life, don't align to your values. If you have this friend you think they are not challenging you to become a better person, just tell them, Vinny, I think I need a break. I don't know how long it will take, but I need to go and work on myself. Then if they try to also challenge themselves and become better, it's okay. But if they are really comfortable with being that degenerate version of the person they are, you just say to them goodbye. You'll make better friends. I can tell you this. I don't have a lot of friends, but the friends I have are really helping me. They challenge me to become a better person. Like, for example, the Thai business that I started. My friend helped me finance my business. So imagine if you can tell your friends you want to start a business idea and they are really helping you become a better person. Sindio, that is the kind of friendship we want in life. Then the other thing is the media and what you watch and see. You listen to this degenerate music. You watch the news. Just give me. So you find yourself watching news daily. Then you realize that the news always project bad things. It's like, divorce rate is high, so you'll never believe that there's genuine love. This guy has killed the girlfriend. Men are killing women. So when you get out there, you are like, the men today, I can't trust them. They are killing women. Then you ask yourself, is every woman being killed out there? So sometimes also reduce the kind of content you watch. This music you listen to. You find someone whose playlist is just sad music. Before you go, was there something I could do to make your life better or make you feel better? Okay, it's been long since I listened to. Or you find this person listening to this bongo music that talk about heartbreaks. So you're listening to this music. This means you'll never heal. You're always in this constant version of blaming other people. Oh, she broke your heart. Then what? Heartbreaks will always be there. Live a life, bro. Someone broke your heart 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and you're still holding on to the pain. Are you doing yourself some good thing? Go heal. Then go look for someone who has some good character, who's invested into their life. They are doing good things. Don't just date people for the sake of dating them. Then you'll find that there's this version of life that you never see in the media. The media will never tell you about these couples who are into a healthy relationship. They'll never tell you about the people who are loving each other. They'll always tell you bad things. Oh, sijui, the inflation rate is increasing. So please try and stop watching the media. Like news, reduce the content. And also these people who watch reality shows, sometimes you find people watching the Pluto. The Pluto, they test the relationships, and you're like, oh, this one was cheating. Of course, most of the people are always cheating because, you see, their audience wants to, it's called a perception bias. So, when most likely they are looking for these people who will act this, they are looking for the people who are of the same version of the people their audience is. So they won't go, most likely, to identify people who are into healthy relationships. They'll just go and identify people are cheating on each other, people are just into relationships for the value of the sex. They can't stay alone. They're just into it for the sex. So you find that if you're getting sex from this person, then you can get it from someone else. You don't have a character. You don't have a value. You don't have any conviction. You're just into flipping girls. And the girl is just perversive. By the way, I don't really understand how a woman can become perversive, but it's not my story to judge. You live your life. Whatever you decide to do, Borake, you've made up your mind to live the consequences. That is your own life. Okay, so I talked about the media, the things we watch, and the music we listen to. They form our belief systems. Then, our perception about the world. This is kind of wired through all these things we do. Sindio? Then, I talked about the idea of the perception bias. We'll always want to confirm the things we know. So, you find someone who'll always look for that thing that, for example, if you believe all men are bad, when the news airs, like people have killed, men have killed women for the femicide thing, you'll always realize, I told you men are bad. You look for your friend who has broken up with the boyfriend or the girlfriend, and I told you, fear women. So you say, fear women. Bro, were you created to fear women? Fear God. Why are you fearing women for God's sake? Grow up. Yeah, so I want to give you the strategies on how to change your belief systems. And first of all, allow me to read an extract from this book. And by that, go find this book. I'll always tell you to read books. This book is called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. So I want to read some excerpt from the book before I continue. So this is the conscious and the subconscious minds. An excellent way to get acquainted with two functions of your mind is to look upon your own mind as a garden. You are a gardener and you're planting seeds, that is thoughts, in your subconscious mind all day long, based on your habitual thinking. You are a gardener and you're planting seeds, in bracket thoughts, in your subconscious mind all day long, based on your habitual thinking. As you sow in your subconscious mind, so shall you reap in your body and environment. Begin now to sow thoughts of peace, happiness, right action, goodwill, and prosperity. Think quietly and with interest on these qualities and accept them fully in your conscious reasoning mind. Continue to plant these wonderful seeds of thoughts in the garden of your mind, and you will reap a glorious harvest. Your subconscious mind may be likened to the soil, which will grow all kinds of seeds, good or bad. Do men gather grapes of thorns, or figs of thistles? Every thought is therefore a cause, and every condition is in an effect. For this reason, it is essential to take charge of your thoughts so as to bring forth only desirable conditions. So, okay, how do we rewire our belief systems? The first thing is to change our identity. And as I already told you guys, the only way to change your identity is by to You can't do this on your own. You'll always need the help of God. So submit yourself to the will of God, and you'll appreciate there's a gradual process of change. I was talking to one of my friends at school. He's called Mr. Miller, and he told me about his experience, which I won't share unless he gives me the consent, or maybe I'll invite him to the podcast one day just to share his experience. Yeah. So, and you find that before you become a new person, there's always a process that God takes you through, and he called it Egypt. It's like the law of seasons. So before God replenishes you into a new being, there's a journey he takes you through. I can tell you mine, and you'll read it somewhere. I'll release an announcement very soon, so wait for it. Yeah, so identity change is only gotten from God. So first of all, you can only rewire your belief systems by changing your identities. Start looking at things in a different way. So first of all, before you do this, you need to submit to the will of God, because there's always some spiritual aspect to the things we do. So you can't do anything on your own. You're not, like, stop believing in yourself too much. You need the help of God. You're just a mortal being. Please submit to the will of God. Then number 2 is healing. I talk to people every day about healing, and I will never stop saying this. Please heal, so that your children won't have to heal from having you as a parent. Please heal that toxic relationship you are in, the dysfunctional family you grew up in that is making you avoidant, or you are too anxious, your attachment personality type. I told you to go and try to identify your attachment personality type. So work on yourself. Change the way you do things. You know, sometimes I look at people, someone smoking themselves to death, someone drinking their life to completion, to derogation. You're drinking away your life just because of something that happened. Can you just look? You're giving alcohol power over your life instead of submitting your life to God, then undergoing the process of healing. Please, let us change how we do things. Young people, I will urge you, please, for this day, we don't have forever. Try and change how you do the things you do. Then number 3, learn and unlearn. I can't tell you the number of podcasts I've listened to. I can just mention them. The Bedros Killian Show, The Diary of a CEO, Minority Mindset. I've listened to Modern Wisdom. I've listened to The Ideas That Matter. That is Vuzi the Bekwayo. I've listened to Benjamin Zulu Global. I know people will criticize me for this. I've listened to Amerix. I've listened to so many podcasts. I've listened to Myron Golden. I listen to lots of podcasts. I listen to Koinonia Global, that is Apostle Joshua Selman. So try and invest into listening to productive things. Stop listening to these reality shows that explain how the world is so bad. You are listening to psychopaths who have given up on life. This Pluto's show, or they are called what? Yeah, so because they affect how you think or you perceive the world. Yeah, so try and listen to good things. And I've shown you the books I read. So today, allow just me to do this. So if you want to look at this, I know I gave people my books, but invest in your library. You've seen these books? Yeah, so invest in reading. I won't stress so much on that. Invest in reading good books. Yeah. Then number 3, change your environmental conditions. I already told you, change your friends. If you live around people who are just bringing your energy down, change your environment. Change your environment. If you want to change yourself, you need to change your environment. If your environment is obstructing you from growing, you need to change it. Yeah. So I won't repeat that. Then Number 5, which most of the people don't do, is stop and ask yourself why you do the things you do. If you want to do this thing, for a minute, stop and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is it gonna help me? Is the future version of me, will that future version of me look at me and appreciate that I took this action? It's gonna piss off that version of me? So stop and ask yourself before you do anything. Stop and ask yourself why you're doing it. Sometimes, okay, we are men. So sometimes I'm always on the streets. Then I see these hot girls, they are beautiful. They are not hot, they are beautiful. Sorry. So the monkey mind tells me, okay, I speak to them, but I restrict. I can't ask for a random girl for their number. Honestly, I respect myself so much. I'm past that life. I'm just not hitting on anything, and I'm also not hitting. This time is the time to grow myself, to understand myself, to heal if there's anything I still do. Because I told you healing will never stop. So yeah, I'm still working on myself. So this is not the time that I have to invest. Everyone has their own season. I'm not saying you should do what I am doing. Just choose whatever works for you. Yeah. So stop and ask yourself why you do the things you do. So sometimes I see them and I'm like, should I approach them? Then I'm like, okay, so what if I approach them? Okay, maybe say hi. Sometimes I do. But at some point I'm like, is it gonna really help the future version of me? Then the answer is no. Then I just say, it's okay, she's beautiful. Maybe I compliment her, not in the suggestive way. I just tell her, you're beautiful, then I'm gone. Because it's also good to live in. I don't tell people that they should really isolate themselves from the world, because you'll always need people, but also choose the people you interact with. So this guy that you hit on any woman you see in the streets, like, level up, bro. Your parents did give birth to you to just focus on chasing women. When you have a life you need to live, please focus on your life. Then the last thing, which is very trivial, learn to differentiate between logic and emotions. Because at some point you find that you are emotional beings. An episode I talked about emotional intelligence. Go and watch that episode. I talked about the things, how we need to marry our emotions and rationale to make reasonable decisions. So sometimes when you find yourself doing things, or you find yourself thinking about something, because in the moment our emotions will always overwhelm us. So stop and ask yourself, is this really an idea of my own emotions, or is it logic? Then after that you ask yourself, what is my emotion trying to communicate? And is it really something that will help me, or is it something that will just be a passing storm? Yeah. So then you'll be fine. You guys take care. Love yourself. Never be too desperate for love. And please focus on healing. Be a good person. Be kind to others. Stay hydrated. And submit yourself to the will of God. Until next time, I'll see you guys. Bye.